Hello everyone, my name is Vinit Pandey. I am from IT branch first sem. Today I will be answering introspection question from different categories that will explore how I view my values, my time, and the direction of my life. I will try to answer each question thoughtfully and clearly, reflecting on what these ideas mean to me personally. So the first question is, am I using my time wisely? On some days, I use my time effectively, while on others, I struggle to focus. I try to divide my tasks into smaller parts so that they feel much more manageable. I am also learning to reduce distractions, especially digital ones. For me, using time wisely means to manage both productivity and rest. Even if I don't complete everything planned for the day, I still try to make that day count in some way. So the next question is, am I being true to myself? I try to make decisions that align with my own values, although sometimes situations influence my decisions. I've also come to realize that being true to myself means understanding what I genuinely want rather than automatically reacting or following others. I am learning to pause and think before I act. This helps me stay closer to what I believe in. The next question is, what worries me most about the future? For me, the biggest concern is uncertainty. The future can move in infinite directions, and not knowing exactly where I will end up sometimes makes me feel uneasy. Questions about personal progress, career, and stability often come to my mind. To handle this, I try to focus on things I have control on at the present moment, that are my decisions, my habits, and my willingness to learn. This helps me stay more grounded. The next question is, what am I really scared of? One thing I'm cautious about is failure, especially in situations where the expectations are high. I also care about the trust others place in me, and the thought of letting someone down makes me feel uncomfortable. These thoughts motivate me to prepare better and stay more organized. Understanding my fear helps me handle them instead of ignoring them. The next question is, what matters most in my life? What matters to most to me is stability and personal growth. I also value meaningful relationships, a sense of direction, and the ability to maintain a peace of mind. Work, family, friends, and health, all these form the core areas which I want to maintain and improve. These priorities guide most of my decisions. The next question is, what do I need to change about myself? One thing I need to improve is my habit of overthinking. Most of the times, it slows down my decision making and also makes me feel unnecessary pressure and stress. I also want to strengthen my consistency while working on long term tasks. I am doing this by focusing on setting clearer boundaries and building routines that help me stay steady. The next question is, which is worse, failing or never trying? I believe never trying is worse. Failure is definitely uncomfortable, but it gives clarity and experience. Avoiding opportunities will only create unanswered questions and regret. Even if we don't succeed at something, we sometimes get a sense of direction. And it is better to move forward with some uncertainty than to remain stuck at one place. Next question is, what is the one thing I need to let go of? I think I need to let go of comparing my pace with others. Everyone moves through life differently, and comparing journeys only creates unnecessary pressure. Focusing on my own growth helps me stay more centered. Avoiding comparisons allows space for confidence and self trust. The next question is, if my body could talk, what would it say? If my body could talk, it would probably ask me for better routines like better sleep, regular meal, and consistent workout. It would remind me to take breaks whenever needed and not stretch myself mentally for too long. Physical health influences everything else, so I try to be more attentive to it. The next question is, what words do you need the most right now? The words I need most are of simple resilience, such as progress takes time, clarity develops with effort, and steadiness is valuable. These reminders help me stay focused and reduce unnecessary pressure. The next question is, what inspires me the most? I'm inspired by people who gradually improve themselves through discipline, hard work, and steady effort. Watching individuals work quietly toward their goals even without recognition, shows the power of consistency. It reminds me that growth doesn't need to be dramatic to be meaningful. Next question is, what do I want to say yes to? I want to say yes to opportunities that encourages growth, to healthy routines, to discipline habits, and to learning new skills. I also want to say yes to moments of reflection because they help guide my decision and clarify my direction. The next question is, what do I want to say no to? I want to say no to habits and patterns that drain energy, overcommitting, worrying about things outside my control, and dealing important tasks. Reducing these tendencies helps make the day more structured and manageable. The next question is, what have I learned from my biggest mistakes? From my mistakes, I have learned the importance of patience and clear communication. Acting impulsively or without enough information often leads to complications. Taking time to understand the situation before responding helps avoid unnecessary issues. The next question is, what makes me feel most like myself? I feel most like myself in calm and structured environments where I can think clearly and express my thoughts without distraction. Whether I'm reading, planning, or working on task in a quiet space, I feel more connected in my thoughts. These moments allow me to reflect, organize my ideas, and stay aware of my goals. I also feel grounded when I'm doing activities that match my personality. Time that requires thought, planning, or creativity. Being in situations where I can be composed and genuine helps me understand myself better. These settings make it easier to maintain clarity and act in a way that aligns it with my values. The next question is, am I taking anything for granted? There are certain things I tend to overlook in my daily routine, mainly because they feel normal or constant. For example, the support I see from people close to me sometimes goes unnoticed because it blends into everyday life. I also take my basic comforts for granted, things like health, resources, and access to opportunities. Reflecting on this question makes me more aware of how important it is to acknowledge these aspects instead of assuming they will always be there. Recognizing what I take for granted helps me develop more gratitude and pay attention to the things that contribute to my stability and growth. The next question is, why do I matter? I believe I matter because of the roles I play in the lives of the people around me and responsibilities I take on. Even small actions like being consistent, reliable, or supportive can make a difference indirectly. I also matter because my decisions and habits shape the environment I am part of. Every person contributes something unique to their experiences, and I feel the same applies to me. Understanding this gives my everyday tasks a sense of purpose, even if they seem routine. The next question is, what advice would I give to a newborn baby? If I had to offer one piece of advice to a newborn thinking far into their future, it would be to remain curious and open to learning. Life presents many different challenges and opportunities, and having a mindset that is willing to learn, adjust, and adapt to them can make a significant difference. I would also advise them to develop the quality of patience because not everything in life arrives quickly. Patience and curiosity together help shape a balanced approach towards life. The next question is, am I thinking negative thoughts before I fall asleep? There are times when I go to bed with thoughts still circling around my mind, especially if something happened during the day which couldn't fully process. These thoughts are not always negative, but can be repetitive and distracting. To handle this, I think of something calmer before sleeping, such as reviewing my day objectively or planning for the next morning. This helps me reduce unnecessary overthinking at night. Being aware of my thoughts before sleep makes a clear difference in how rested and focused I feel the next day. The next question is, what can I learn from my biggest mistakes? One thing I can learn from my biggest mistakes is the importance of being patient and understanding a situation before reacting to it. Many times mistakes happen because of a decision taken too quickly or without enough clarity. When I look back at them, I can see how taking a moment to understand or communicate properly or gather more information could have changed the outcomes. Mistakes also show the value of consistency. When I don't focus or follow through my plans, the results usually show that. This helps me build a better approach towards future. Mistakes are also a reminder that improvement is a continuous process. Each one highlights the area which I can refine, whether be it discipline, planning, or patience. The next question is, what am I doing for the things that matter most in my life? For the areas that matter most to me, such as studying, relationships, and personal well being, I'm taking steady efforts that support them. This includes studying with more focus, keeping in touch with people which are important to me, and following routines that help me stay more organized. I'm also learning that consistency is far more impactful than sudden intense efforts. By making deliberate choices in these areas, I stay aligned with my priorities and build a clearer direction for myself. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my reflections. These questions help me to look more closely at my thoughts, habits, and the direction in which I'm moving in. Each question provided me an opportunity to understand myself better and to recognize the areas in which I still want to improve. These reflections also help me to organize my priorities and clarify what is important in my academic and personal routine. I believe exercises like this are necessary because they encourage awareness and thoughtful decision making. With this, I conclude my introspection video. Thank you.